So, if you're running a dental practice, you know that growth is always top of mind. But what if I told you the real key to long-term success isn't just about chasing down new patients? What if it's about completely changing the game for your youngest ones? Today, we're diving into a powerful new growth engine that actually brings together fantastic patient care and a seriously healthy bottom line. All right, let's just start with this one big question. We usually think of our pediatric patients as the beginning of a journey, right? We hope they'll stick around. But what if we could flip that script? What if, instead of just a starting point, they could become the most valuable, most stable part of your entire practice? To even begin to understand how, we have to get laser-focused on one metric, and it's a big one: dental patient lifetime value, or LTV. Look, this isn't about what a patient pays for a cleaning. This is the total revenue they bring to you over years, maybe even decades. If you want a practice that lasts, this is the number you really need to be watching. Now, LTV isn't some big, mysterious number. It really breaks down into these three simple pillars. You've got what they spend each year, how long they actually stay with you, and, this is the one people forget, the new business they bring in through referrals. And here's the magic. You don't have to fix everything at once. You just nudge any one of these levers, and the total value can absolutely skyrocket.
But here is the challenge. With kids, we have a huge engagement gap. Let's be honest, our traditional methods of just telling them to brush and floss, well, they don't always work. The real problem isn't what happens in the chair, it's what's not happening at home. And that gap puts their whole journey with your practice at risk.
And wow, this chart really spells it out, doesn't it? Look at that. Almost half the battle is just poor compliance at home. Then you've got a huge chunk that's all about dental fear and anxiety, making every visit a struggle. And finally, you have all those missed appointments. Every single one of these things eats away at their LTV.
So the big question is, how do we fix this? Well, it's time to talk about a completely new clinical strategy. And I mean something that goes way beyond just sending appointment reminders or handing out a sticker at the end of a visit.
Just look at the difference here. The old way, it's passive. It happens in episodes, a cleaning here, a filling there, and frankly, it can be really scary for a kid. It's all based on instruction. The new way, though, is active and continuous. It's actually fun and engaging. And this is key. It doesn't just rely on instruction, it builds real, genuine motivation.
And we do this through something called dental gamification. Now, when you hear that word, don't just think of kids playing on a phone. This is serious science. It's about applying proven principles from behavioral psychology to turn a boring old routine into an experience that kids actually look forward to.
So a perfect example of this is an app like ERNX. It uses all the stuff kids already get. They earn points every time they brush and floss, and they can use those points to get real prizes, things they actually want. They see their brushing streaks grow, maybe they compete with their siblings. It takes a chore that parents have to nag about and turns it into a daily win. Okay, so this all sounds great for the kids, right? They're having fun, they're building good habits, but how does turning play into points actually turn into profit for your practice? Let's connect those dots. This table breaks it down perfectly. You see how it all ties back to those pillars of LTV? Those daily challenges in the app? That's not just about brushing. That's about building habits that create long-term patient retention. Rewarding kids for making their appointments. That crushes your no-show rate and boosts visit frequency. And things like leaderboards and badges, kids and parents talk about that stuff. It creates natural word of mouth and drives up your referral value.
And hey, we're not just guessing here. Look at this number, 53%. That's the potential increase in brushing frequencies seen in trials based on this kind of behavioral science. That is a massive jump in at-home compliance. It directly attacks the single biggest barrier to pediatric LTV we saw earlier. This chart here, this really tells the whole story. That first bar, that's your standard patient's lifetime value. Now, you introduce a tool like ERNX, and because of better retention and more visits, you see that immediate jump in the second bar. But here's where it gets really exciting. You add in the power of all the new referrals they're bringing in, and that third bar shows you the exponential growth that's possible. This is how your youngest patients become your most valuable.
Okay, so the numbers are fantastic. We get it. But let's talk about the real ROI here, the one that gets to the heart of why you got into this profession in the first place. This is about when profit finally follows purpose.
And this is the absolute core takeaway. I want you to really hear this. Dental gamification is not a marketing gimmick. It is a clinical strategy, a strategy that delivers better health outcomes because it finally makes patients an active, excited participant in their own care.
And you know what that does? It finally resolves that old tension, that constant pull every healthcare provider feels between doing what's best for the patient and running a profitable business. With this approach, they become the same thing. Your commitment to better care is the very thing that drives your profitability. They don't just align, they fuel each other.
It completely reframes your whole business model. It redefines what success even looks like. Profit stops being the thing you have to chase. Instead, it becomes the natural result, the reward for doing exceptional work and creating a community of genuinely healthy, happy patients.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. Are you building a practice that just reacts to problems as they pop up? Or are you building something more? A practice that proactively creates a lifetime of health, of loyalty, and of incredible growth? The answer to that could change everything.